Good evening, Rust enjoyers. Hope you're doing alright, because it's time for Profit Review. Last week we discussed the September 19, 2024 Rust Store, and that means today we're here to discuss September 26. So sit back and relax. I'm going to start yapping. Now, before I do, some of you might be new and don't fully understand what the focus of the video is. Don't worry, I'll explain very quickly. Basically, with every Rust Store that we see, I will return to it 4 weeks later and just see how everything turned out. Did everything match up to our expectations? And if not, I have to sit here and explain why. And of course, with every Rust Store that we see, if I could just quickly hop back over to here, you'd know that I'm always making predictions in regards to what potentially might be the best investment out of all the skins. Was I correct? And if I wasn't, you can hold me accountable. So hopping back over to here, what was my initial reaction when I first saw these skins? Well, first of all, I look at that garage door and I thought, isn't it a little bit early for the likes of Halloween? Well, look at that smile. So, okay, you know, the very last Rust Store for September 2024, and we're already getting a bit of a, getting in the mood for something scary. All right, so Twisted Middle Garage Door, you were interesting, but you didn't glow in the dark. Was that a potential problem? And then I look at the likes of the Commando AK-47, and you might be shocked to hear this, but I actually was feeling pretty confident that a AK-47 potentially would be a very nice investment. What makes you say that? Well, I was aware of its existence before, of course, it appeared in the Rust Store, because I'm always looking at the brand new workshop submissions. And this is a very nice, sleek, black design for an AK with a useful red aim sight. Haven't I seen that before? Yes. You've seen it on the Blackout AK-47. Well, rather, back then, this was on the Steam market selling at $13 with the lowest listing. Huh. So you're telling me that this has just been accepted, looks basically the exact same thing, and it's about 5 to 6 times cheaper? That might potentially bode well for it. Okay, well, we'll talk more about that, won't we? And then we had the likes of the greening area door. Bit of an odd looking design, but hey, it's something unique and different, so alright, can't complain. And then we had the likes of the tier 3 armoured door, collection continuation to the likes of the weapons from Lodi the previous year, so okay, interesting collection continuation. And then we had the likes of Black Diamond. This was a bit of a strange one. Black Diamond, roadside gloves, but without boots, and instead with a sap. And well, in the first instance I saw this, I was like, well, hang on a minute. Didn't we just have a Blackout sap accepted earlier this year? Yes, we did. And then I thought, well, will this sell as much as this, or will it sell less than compared to this? Because this was accepted back in April earlier this year, and it done a very good job of retaining its value. Would this potentially do the same? Would this work out well? I had to wait and see. And then we have the gloves. Now, here's the interesting thing. Before this, we had the likes of Tier 3 armor and Tier 2 armor being accepted. More specifically, Tier 3 was accepted on August Forcewipe. Tier 2 was accepted on September Forcewipe. Surely, potentially, the very next Rust Store, with that being the October Forcewipe Rust Store, could we see hoodie and pants being accepted? Well then, if that were to happen, surely the Black Diamond gloves was in a perfectly fine position to potentially end up becoming one of the best investments of this week. We just had to wait and see, basically. So, okay, cool. It's just nice to be aware of that. Then we had the likes of the Abyss Collection getting another weapon, Hellborn with another weapon. Yep, very cool looking Python, and a bow skin with transparency. So, okay, cool. Nice, interesting things there. So now we're going to talk specifically about the likes of the predictions. So this is my predictions on the day. I was looking at all the skins, and the first skin that was the skin I was most confident in was the AK. I was like, well, surely a lot of people are going to realise it's basically pretty much looking exactly like the Blackout AK with the very cool looking black sleek design, the useful red aim sight. I was like, surely people are going to notice. Maybe it doesn't sell too much. Maybe it works out quite all right. Now, with the quick comparison, how much did the Blackout AK-47 sell? Because it was accepted like 3-4 years before this. So if we could just quickly find it out right now. I'm just going to scroll down, scroll. And of course, there's so many AK-47s, so it'll take a while just to find it. Typical. But where are you? Was it 2020 or 2019? It was 2020, yeah. And that did around 20,000 subscribers. So I thought, okay, maybe we'll just see how much it sells. Of course, it was abnormal at the time. We can pace ourselves, we can wait and see how things turn out, but it was looking very appealing. That's why I picked it as the skin I was most confident in. Now, the next skin I was looking at, if I can recall, was the Black Diamond gloves. Now, I've already made my point. Basically, I was well aware that looking at the likes of that and feeling very confident that we potentially were going to see hoodie and pants the very next week, and I was feeling very confident they were going to get produced in time, I was like, surely that was going to be fine, maybe that could be okay. Now, I didn't have to rush into buying it, But still, I had to keep an eye on the workshop over the course of the next weekend at that specific time, because I was like, oh, things are lining up very, very nicely for it. So I felt confident in that. So hopping back over to here, what else was I feeling confident in? If I can recall, I was also feeling confident in the likes of the sap. Just to quickly remember the order. Yep. So I thought maybe the Black Diamond sap, as I've just mentioned as well, it could emulate the behaviour of what we saw with the likes of the Blackout sap. A very cool, sleek, black, shiny design, and I could just quickly show that off to you. But it wasn't like exactly the same style as the Blackout sap. The Blackout sap had a useful red aim sight. This did not. But the Black Diamond collection was doing rather well for itself at this specific point in the year, but all of the skins were still slightly down in price. So was that going to emulate the Blackout sap, or was it just going to emulate the other Black Diamond skins? Okay, that was a bit of an iffy sort of situation, but a smart barter can always lead to some success. Okay, cool. And then I looked at all the other skins, making a consideration. If I can recall, yep, Ultramarine small box. So looking at the likes of this, it was the next Ultramarine skin to be accepted. I thought, okay, well, this has actually flourished quite nicely. I wonder if it actually works out well, because at this specific point in time, at the end of September in 2024, small box skins weren't exactly holding up very well. We're going through the likes of the Autumn Fall seasonal dip. With the likes of these collections here, it was a case of, well, I fully expected them to go down to around $1 eventually. We expected lots of skins to go down in price. We've seen it happen many times in the past. But looking at some of the other skins, they were kind of doing all right. Like at this specific point, when we saw the Armored Door being accepted there, suddenly everybody decided to buy the Tier 3 toolbox. That was funny, but the main thing is, that wasn't actually in the same collection as the Armored Door. It was actually made by someone else, but people liked it, saw a connection. Cool. So by default, a lot of small boxes that had come out in 2024 weren't exactly doing very well. Was that going to emulate that behaviour, or was it going to match up perfectly fine with the likes of all the other Ultramarine skins? It was something to find out, but it was looking very appealing. Then I looked at all the other doors here, and unfortunately, I wasn't feeling very confident in the doors. Garage door looked very cool, looked very unique, looked very happy. But unfortunately, garage doors, so many of them being accepted, and so many of them not holding up very well, I just wasn't feeling confident in it, I'm afraid. So I thought, whilst you do look very cool, I just couldn't help but assume it was going to drop off. So I was just going to stick with doing a barter. Sheepman doors, pretty much the same thing. Far too many of them had been accepted. Hardly any of them were, holding up their value very nicely. I just had little to no confidence in the greening area door. It would have been nice to see some continuations. It would have been nice to see a collection, start off from this. But I was so fatigued with sheepman doors, and unfortunately armoured doors as well, because all the armoured doors that have been accepted at this specific point, rather than the Shadowborn armoured door, all of them have gone down in price by quite a fair bit. So that very likely was just going to go down in price as well. Very unfortunate, but yeah, it glowed in the dark. It looked like it was potentially going to develop into a nice looking collection for deplorables more specifically, because we had weapons just before all of this and whatnot the year before. But even then, I didn't feel confident. And then with the likes of the weapon skins, so I'm talking about the Abyss LR300, the Hellborn Custom SMG, and the Python. I mean, I just didn't really have that much faith. LR300s, the weapon itself, I know we had a buff like early this year, but even then they still weren't holding up very well. When all the skins are down bad, it usually implies people don't care enough for the weapon itself. Looking at the custom SMGs as well, we had a lot of very interesting notable collection continuations for custom SMGs, and next to none of them were in the positive, like zero, none, and they were all down by at least like 30%. So I was like, I don't have that much confidence. But I was well aware that the Hellborn collection weapons weren't down that bad. They had gone down in price, of course, but it wasn't like they're down to about like 90 cents, like many other AK-47s and crossbows. So okay, maybe that would actually do a little bit better, but still expected to go down in price. Python, take a look at all the Pythons. Again, wha-bam, we're going to see the exact same thing, down in price. Now, of course, we did have the Redemption Python just a bit before this, and I still had high hopes for the likes of that. Didn't expect it to drop off that badly. But when I looked at all the other Pythons, yeah, not a pretty sight. It was the first ever skin to be accepted for drag, but I just couldn't help but assume it's going to go down potentially to around $1. And then we had the Cargo Heli Bow. This was a very funny thing, but I just had like little to no confidence in it. You might notice with it being a Cargo Heli skin, yes, it had transparency. And when you aim down the sight in game, you just had like a little tiny window that you could see at the very top right corner of the screen. And people initially thought, oh, it's got transparency. It's going to be super helpful. No, it was helpful when it was the cargo heli crossbow because you could see more on the side. But with a bow skin, it was like it's nothing, no help whatsoever. I had no confidence in that. I look at all the hunting bows at that specific point in the year, and well, no, none of them were holding up. I had no faith in it. Sorry to say, but the actual item itself, for some strange reason, whilst a lot of people do use hunting bow skins, it looks like they only care for a few bow skins, and many others just drop off badly. So I remembered the Abyss bow. So yeah, things were looking fairly routine. So how about we talk about the progress now? So hopping back over to the likes of here, and if I can just quickly show you all of this. So with the likes of the first 24 hours of sales, I was kind of surprised. These skins really weren't holding up, or rather, I had high hopes for them, but the sales just really didn't match up to that. So at this specific point, I was looking at the likes of the Commando AK-47, the Black Diamond Sap, the Ultramarine Small Box, and the Black Diamond Gloves. These 4 skins, I initially thought they were going to sell quite a fair bit more, but no, they were selling quite a fair bit less. Things were only looking better for them as investments. If they didn't have that many in circulation, all the better for them to rise up in price if certain interesting things were to happen. So instantly looking at these 4 skins potentially becoming very nice investments. As we were getting closer to like the abnormal barders, things were looking very, very promising. Unfortunately for the other skins, still wasn't feeling like my mood didn't really change for them. So, okay, cool. But just to get the point across, the top selling skin was the Twisted Metal Garage Door, and it only had just under 7,000 subscribers. That's pretty low, yeah. So let's now talk about the likes of the abnormal barders at that specific point. So if I were to just quickly bring this up over to here, you can see the sales on the Wednesday night just before the next rotation. So as you can see, Twisted Metal Garage Door top selling skin, it only had 16,000 subscribers. The Commando AK-47, very surprisingly, just barely had over 15,000 subscribers. Remember, in comparison to like the Blackout AK-47, that had over 20,000 subscribers. This looks exactly the same as that, and there's less of them. Sheep door, armoured door, sold nicely, but still wasn't confident in them. The Sap had only done 11,000 subscribers. Now, in comparison to likes the Blackout Sap had 18,000 subscribers. This was barely 2/3 of the way of that. Things were looking pretty good for that. Ultramarine Small Box was looking to be the lowest selling Ultramarine skin at this specific point here. It didn't even reach 11,000 subscribers. And then the Black Diamond Gloves, just over 10,000 subscribers. As I said, I was under the impression that the next day, at this point here, surely we're going to get the Black Diamond hoodie and pants. And, well, let's talk about the prices I was suggesting. So when I looked at the likes of the Twisted Metal Garage Door, I thought maybe people appreciate the design. Maybe around January time, we'll see a lot of people see it for the first time and think, wow, that looks cool. Yeah, I'll buy that. So I thought, okay, it's selling at $2.49. I think I'll offer $1 to $1.50. Seemed reasonable enough. So, yeah. And I will point out, at this specific point, there was another Twisted Metal skin being produced. If I can recall, I believe it was the Furnace. So Twisted Metal skins were turning in... Well, there was a collection brewing. That's the point I'm trying to get across, sorry. Commando AK-47. I was looking at it, selling at $2.49. I thought, you know what? I'm going to offer $1.50 to $2. I thought it was selling, well, too low, too little. And I just couldn't help but assume that things were going to work out perfectly fine. Now, more specifically, I want to just bring up this point. See, the year before this, we had another black AK-47, and that was the Ninja AR. Now, the Ninja AR just so happens to be the AK-47 that sold the most compared to all the other AKs. It did almost 45,000 subscribers. And remember, subscribers are bare minimum sales. We know at least around 45,000 individual people bought this Ninja AK-47. Oh, I've clicked the wrong one. I meant to do high subscribers. Yeah, so let me just quickly show you this. Yep. At least 44,693 individual people bought this AK. However, we don't know specifically how much they bought each. Maybe a lot of people bought one for themselves. Maybe some people bought 10. Maybe some people bought 50. Maybe some people bought 100 because they wanted to buy a bunch with the pure intent to sell them, make a quick flip. Point was, at the point of September, This, whilst it had the absolute most AK-47s based on subscriber count, it had only gone down by about 20%. It was the autumn fall seasonal dip, so many AK-47s down to less than $1 in price, and yet this one right here barely even changed. So things were just looking very, very, very appealing for it. I was suggesting $1 to $1.50 to $2. Yes, quite close to its price, but I thought, you know what, at the end of the day, maybe when times are bad, it's ending up like the Ninja AK-47, where it only goes down to about 20% down, and $2 is that point. So cool, yeah, Commando AK-47, things were looking promising, so that was nice. Greening area door, 70 cents to $1, didn't have that much faith in it. Tier 3 armoured door, 80 cents to $1.20, didn't have that much faith in it. Black Diamond Sap. So I was looking at the likes of this, and I thought, I think it's potentially going to be very reliable, and by default, Sap skins over the course of the summer of 2024. Pretty much all the Sap skins that have come out over the past 2 years, nearly all of them were in the positive. And the majority were like just comfortably selling ever so nicely, selling very well, being nice and profitable is the main point I'm trying to get across. It appeared to be very reliable, so I thought, okay, yeah, we can offer $1.50 to $2. Yes, it also sold at $2.49, but I had seen quite a few SEPs being released up to this point, so if I could just quickly remember the order of them. We had seen the likes of, if I can recall, we had the Bombshell set. Okay, we had Quarantine, Bombshell, and Ronin. Ronin had gone down to about 20%. Bombshell SEP had gone down to about 12%. And if I could recall, Quarantine SEP was about evens. If that was them performing at their worst, if that did something similar, I'd be fine with that, because I know when more people were likely going to return playing the game around January time, that was very likely to work out ever so nicely. So, okay, yeah, I was going to offer $2. Everything seemed okay. As I said, it seemed to be very reliable. Then I look at the likes of the Ultramarine small box. Now, I wasn't really sure how to approach this, but just remember, this was selling at $1.99. So I thought, okay, Ultramarine collection, doing very well for itself. All the skins are in the positive. I thought, okay, we could do $1 to $1.50. It seemed very reliable. It seemed like it was going to perform much better compared to many other small boxes that are accepted in all of 2024. This felt special, and yes, at that point, it looked like it was going to be the lowest selling Ultramarine skin. And if Ultramarine collection was going to work out ever so nicely over the course of January time, over the course of the summer of 2025, if people wanted a full set, they're going to need that, and there's only so many of them to go around, so all the better for it to rise up in price. You get the idea. And then we had the Black Diamond gloves. I was feeling very, very confident, because we did see the likes of the Black Diamond hoodie and pants being submitted over the course of the weekend. I was feeling very, very, very confident they were going to get accepted the next day, and I suggested offering $1.20 to $1.80. Yes, these sold at $1.99, and I was suggesting a price going all the way up to $1.80. And I did buy some, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. Then I looked at the likes of the Abyss LR300, $2.99. I said $1.20 to $1.70. I thought it was still going to drop off, but the Abyss collection was doing quite nice for itself. Surely it would still do a decent job of retaining some value. So, okay, cool. And then we had the likes of the Hellborn Custom SMG. I looked at it and I thought, I don't have that much faith in it. I think I'm just going to do 60 cents to 80 cents. That's how I approached it. And then the two non-abnormal skins, the Puffin Eyes Python and the Cargo Heli Bow, for both of them 60 cents to 80 cents. They didn't look like they're going to retain value. It's very unfortunate. Right then, so how did everything turn out? Well, with the very next Trust Store, lo and behold, we saw a very interesting pair of hoodie and pants being accepted. So what happened was on October 3rd, the Forcewipe, these went all the way up to about $10. Someone in my chat actually sold a pair for $10. The bar just instantly went up. The price of this just instantly went up. Now, I was expecting the price to gradually go down, but I was still thinking surely this would be working out quite nicely over the course of the next few months, and by January time, maybe it was going to work out so much better. But I want to save the talking for that for just a bit, just go through all of these skins in order. So, Twisted Metal Garage Door. You went down in price. It's quite sad to see. Now, this did develop into a collection because, well, we technically only have two skins, but the point I'm trying to get across is the very next Trust Store, we did see a Furnace. Now, I wasn't sure if this was going to be A-OK, because we were about to go through the likes of the Halloween rush stores. 2 weeks of Halloween skins, no regular skins being accepted, which means, of course, no collections can continue for a while. Bit of a bum up, but yeah, you get the idea. So, yeah, went down in price, and I suggested $1 to $1.50. Look at it right now, it's currently sitting there at $1.56. I would like to assume that the price I suggested was correct, because it basically is sitting there right now. Oh no, it's sitting there at $1.70. So it did do a decent job of retaining most of its value to a point, but yeah, it did drop off. Now, will that recover? Will we see some more Twisted Metal skins being produced and accepted? I'd like to see it, but we can only wait and see. By default, all by itself, do you like the design? Feel free to comment below. Now, if you bought some of these with a buy order, feel free to comment below as well. How much did you buy them for? And do you feel like this is looking to be quite promising? Because there's only 49 of these listings here. And when I look at the, the listing order, it's not that bad. Yeah, there's 13 there, but I can't help but assume there will be some more people jumping in, seeing that for the first time and wanting to buy it. It looks cool. So, okay, I feel like I was correct there. That's nice. What about the next skin? So, Commando AK-47. We had made the comparisons. How did it turn out? Well, right now it's down by 15%. Bit unfortunate. But if this is at its worst, because right now we're just about to, enter the likes of November time, I'm not that concerned. As I said, the comparisons with the likes of the Blackout AK-47, the comparisons with the likes of the Ninja AK-47, and right now there's only 35 listings of these in the Steam market. And it's very thin. Just 10 sales, instantly back into the positive, and then it instantly goes all the way up to like $4. Look how easy that is. And look at the support it still has. That is not going down in price anytime soon. So, okay, it is what it is. It went down slightly, but guess what? I only bought more of them with a very good buy order. I am not feeling bad about that. I am feeling A-okay. So, when we go for the likes of the January time, I think I'll be doing some lovely flips, some lovely profit will be put in my pocket. Maybe I'll hold on to a decent amount of them, wait until the summer. Surely it'll flourish even more. I'd like to see it happen. But that's fine. So I suggested $1.50 to $2. Yes, I did buy a bunch more of these with my $2 buy order. And as I said, I don't feel bad whatsoever. I feel like that will be working out nicely. So with a sheer lack of quantity, let's only hope it works out better. Now, did you buy any? Because I did. I ended up buying 35 of these. But with buy orders, I think I've bought another 40. I'm looking forward to the potential profits. Still confident in it. Feel free to comment below if you bought some for yourself. Greening area door, well, we did see a collection continuation, didn't we? We saw the likes of the garage door. Now, sheet metal doors. What else can I say? Sorry, but like, this is the year where we've seen the most sheet metal doors being accepted in a single year. 33. The year is still not ended. We're very likely going to go above 35. Don't forget, we still have Christmas. I assure you, there'll be a lot of Christmas sheet metal doors being produced. Wouldn't be surprised if we see at least one being accepted. Point made. Cool. So, yeah, let's see if Greening Area does develop into a bigger collection. Yesterday, we did see the likes of a large box being produced. So, okay, we'll see how that turns out. But I suggested 70 cents to $1. And right now, you can see that is selling at 99 cents on the Steam market. Could it have gone higher? Well, could have. But with these continuations, it didn't even budge. Sheet metal doors, not very good investments this year, unfortunately, so it is what it is. Tier 3 armoured door. We only suggested doing like 80 cents to $1.20. Well, funny enough, it is currently sitting here quite literally at like $1.20. Yep. So maybe some high price buy orders did disappear, but if I can recall, I think the highest buy orders on the day we did the abnormal buy orders only went up to slightly above $1. I can't fully remember. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, we did see the likes of a garage door being produced, but again, we've just gone through Halloween. We'll have to see if that potentially is accepted with the next rush store. We're not that far away from the likes of the next rush store, which funnily enough is on October 31st. Anyway, we'll see if this could improve, but armored doors still not exactly looking super great. It's more of a question of how many people even reach to the point where they have an armored door. Yeah, so, okay, maybe we'll just have to take that into consideration. But my suggestion with the barter price seems to be spot on. So let's move on. Black Diamond Sap. Well then, this is funny because it's just basically sitting here retaining value. It is sitting here with the lowest listing being $2.48. It went down by a penny. Oh no! Oh, that's fine. I mean, it's totally fine. There's only 25 listings. The borders still looking very strong. It don't look like it's going down in price anytime soon. There's hardly anything there. That could easily bounce back up and go back up in price. Like, look at it. There's nothing there. So, okay, we'll see how things turn out over the course of these next few months. But I hope it does go above $3 and beyond. And it really doesn't look like that'll be a tough task. So, okay, yeah, it's just doing okay. Now, I didn't buy any of these, but I have bought a few buy orders. So, you're looking good. My buy order suggestion was, it was $1.50 to $1.50 to $2. I'm talking too quickly, sorry about that. And yeah, you're doing A-okay. If you manage to pick some of these up, feel free to comment below. Talking more specifically with a buy order. But if you did buy some of these directly, are you feeling confident in it as well? Again, feel free to comment below. Cool. And then the Ultramarine small box. Again, I just wasn't feeling super confident after seeing so many small boxes crash and burn. Should have jumped onto this. It's gone up to $3. Now, very likely mainly due to the fact that it just happens to be an Ultramarine skin. Fair enough. But I was doing comparisons with the likes of the Abyss collection. See, over the course of the summer of 2024, the Abyss deplorables had worked out ever so nicely. And I thought, well, during the likes of the previous year, I was looking at the Abyss collection. I thought, you know what, that's going to probably have a very nice, good year next year. Of course, being 2024. Now I look at this and think, well, if this is these skins at their worst, I wonder what they're going to look like when we see these flourish during the likes of January in the summer. So I already kind of alluded to that earlier. It's still looking very nice. So if you haven't made any investments right about now, maybe look at these skins. Whilst they're already up in price, imagine what they look like potentially when there's a lot more people playing the game. Consider that. So you're looking good, still looking good. And yes, I looked at that and said only $1 to $1.50. It's already sitting here at $3. I feel like I missed out on that. If you bought some, feel free to comment. But that right there, cool, I've missed out on a good profit there. So it is what it is. Now we can talk about the Black Diamond gloves. And I've already pointed out that yes, this went up in price very, very nicely. We saw the continuation instantly of the very next Rustore. The pattern of the core pieces being accepted for every Forcewipe Rustore. There we go. Cool. All right then. So very nice for the likes of the gloves there. But there was one extra thing I didn't make that much of a fuss about that I'm going to do now. When you look at all the other road sign glove skins that we've had accepted in the past, there's quite a decent amount of black road sign gloves. I'm looking at the likes of Legacy Kevlar, Training. There's also Pirate, but that was like oversaturated. That's an anomaly. We're just going to forget that one. Black Gold, and of course Blackout. Now, all of these being black gloves, every single one of them was in the positive. During the likes of September time, the end of September, very close to the expected point when most skins were going to drop down to the lowest price point. That was expected to happen around October time, and yet every single one of these gloves was A-OK, no issues. Now, the Training road sign gloves was the black gloves with the least amount of sales. It only had 11,500 subscribers. Well, that got beat by the likes of the Black Diamond gloves, which only has 10,954. Yes, the Black Diamond gloves are in a wonderful, perfectly fine spot. And if we could just go look at it on the Steam market, as you can see, it is currently sitting here with only 55 listings. Lowest price is $5.30. I think that's having a pretty good future ahead of it. I bought 30 of these. Should have bought more. Like, I was thinking, oh, maybe it's too good to be true. Maybe we won't see the hoodie and pants being accepted tomorrow. I got some spare money. I can still buy some. So, missed out. Should have jumped more onto that, shouldn't I? But still, I bought some, and yes, it did work out very nicely. Did you buy some? Did any of you make some quick flip profit? Do you still own some? Are you looking forward to the likes of January time? Again, comment below. I'd love to hear it. So, you worked out very, very nicely, but you'd only have known about that if you were around when we did the abnormal barders. So if you're here on this night, at the end of this video, I'm like, guys, we got to jump in. We got to buy some of those Black Diamond gloves. If you feel confident like I did at that time, yeah. But how can you sit there and say you're confident, only bought 30? Well, it was also a case of how much money I could actually spend, because I have a decent amount of accounts that can do buy orders, but with the accounts that I can't do barders with, they didn't have that much money on them. And of course, I was buying a lot of skins with cheap barders that I've made throughout all of the year, because all the skins were going down in price. Not insanely, but gradually. Okay, so Black Diamond gloves, very cool. And yeah, It went up in price very nicely. Now, my price suggestion with the barders was $1.20 to $1.80. Of course, that went even higher, but I was basically sitting there and saying you should probably go buy some black diamond gloves. So I feel like I was correct to a point. Again, you'd have to watch the video to see that, but yeah, all right. Whatever. You think whatever you think. The Abyss LR300, you did drop off in price, but you've not exactly gone down terribly. Like, a lot of LR300s just basically go down to about 50%, like instantly down, usually around $1. That sold at $3, and it's only down to $2 at the moment. Yippee! We'll see. But a lot of the Abyss weapons, they have gone down a fair bit. But that's what happened to the AK-47. Now, that was the only weapon skin we had accepted last year. And initially, it did go down a fair bit. And then over the course of the summer, it went up all the way to about $4 to $5 after selling at $3. So this is basically emulating its behaviour. Could this end up like the AK? I don't think so, because of course you use an AK a lot more compared to an LR300, but surely it potentially rise back up and go all the way back up to its Rustore price again. Right? Well, we'll see. But it's not too bad. That's all right. I suggested $1 to $1.70. That barter would be perfectly fine. You potentially bought it for its lowest potential price, and now just wait and see. Does it flourish or does it sink? We shall see. And then we have the likes of the Hellborn Custom S&G. Didn't have a lot of faith in it. 60 cent to 80 cent barter suggestion. That right there, it's done all right. It's not exactly done superb. It's not in the positive, but it didn't lose its value all the way to like nothing. So that actually ended up like the AK and the crossbow, where it still retained a decent amount of value, but it still dropped off. So, okay, you worked out a fair bit better. Good for you. Did you buy some? Feel free to comment below. And then we have the two remaining skins here. They were not abnormal. I looked at both of them, didn't have that much faith. I said 60 cents to 80 cents, expecting them to end up around $1. Lo and behold, they are both sitting here at $1. So the inevitable was expected, and the inevitable happened. They have hardly any listings. The barders aren't looking very strong. People don't seem to care for them. It's unfortunate, but it was expected. It happened. Ta-da. So yeah. A pretty routine looking Rustore, but won't complaining. I've potentially already made some very nice profits, and as time goes on, we'll see what happens next, but I'm feeling pretty happy. So overall, were you satisfied with this Rustore? Did you make some investments? Did you make any purchases? Because I was making quite a fuss about these 4 skins in particular. Let's see what happens next over the course of the next couple months. And of course, next week is the October Forcewipe Rustore. Some very interesting choices here. And there's a lot of purchases as well. Oh, yes, there was. So we'll be talking about that next week. And yeah, I hope you look forward to it. So thank you very much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you later. See you and goodbye.